Hello, everyone. We're going to just get started in a couple of minutes here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jess Larkin, and I am the Marketing and Communication Specialist at Cornerstone. Today, I'm joined by Corey Paff from WebTech to pull back the curtain and give you a behind-the-scenes look at how simple it is to create and maintain your website. So if you already have a website, but you're looking to learn more about how to optimize it, you can join us for the second part of our website series on March 26, 2019. And you'll learn all about how your web presence can help you gain an edge on the competition. So you can register for that webinar at www.crnstone.com/events. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Your phones are currently muted, so if you have a question throughout the presentation, please feel free to type it into the chat or question box to the right, and we'll get to your questions during the Q&A at the end. Corey's just going to be doing a short little webinar, but he's mostly looking for some questions at the end about specifically building your website. So if you have anything, go ahead and type it into the questions or chat box, and I will be moderating them. Just a little bit about marketing and communication services. My name is Jess Larkin, and I'm the Marketing and Communication Specialist at Cornerstone. My information and Marilyn's are right there on the screen, so if you'd like to get in contact with us, we can help you flush out ideas for refreshing your brand. So feel free to call or email us at either of those numbers or emails below. And chart your course with Cornerstone's 2020 rewards trip. Winners will set sail on the Royal Caribbean Harmony of the Seas ship on May 3rd, 2020. So qualification and registration details are on the Cornerstone site at www.crnstone.com/cruise-2020. So you can register today so that we can begin to track your progress. We won't begin to track any of your points until you register, so be sure to go to that website there. Cornerstone's brand new Resource Center provides access to a full repository of individual employee benefits, licensing, commissions, and marketing resources, and a full library of our Cornerstone white papers. So it's readily available 24/7 without a password on the Cornerstone website. So if you have any questions about this new resource, feel free to call or email me with any questions. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes talking about why you should add a website to your marketing portfolio. And Corey, feel free to jump in whenever you'd like. And we're going to discuss the process of building a site from the ground up after that and what you can expect when working with a third-party web developer and designer like WebTech. So the process of building a website for your business can seem daunting, and it's intimidating to dive into a world of what seems to be just codes and binaries. But in the digital age, an online presence is a must-have as a way to generate leads, find interested prospects, communicate information with your current client base, and it's a valuable complement to your current marketing strategies. And one reason for that is because of first impressions. So according to the Pew Research Center, in 2018, 89% of adults in the United States use the internet. So that's a pretty hefty amount of people. Consumers turn to the online world first to find educational materials, reviews, testimonials, before making a decision to move forward with a specific service like an insurance agent. So your website is like your star salesperson when it comes to communicating with current clients and prospects. When they find you through a quick Google search, your website is going to be your first impression, much like a storefront or a showroom, only virtual. So a user-friendly and mobile-friendly website will showcase your brand and attract new clients in the best way. There's a statistic as well that 89% of adults in the United States use the internet. So like I said, that's a pretty hefty statistic. So looking more digital is definitely something that you want to look into. Another reason that it's good to have a website is for lead generation. So a well-organized and well-constructed website, it's a powerful marketing tool for data collection and lead generation. And websites that outline your business's strengths and values, these are particularly good at generating leads. You want prospects to be able to just type your name into Google and find your business or a way to contact you. So adding elements to your site like an option to sign up for a newsletter or a contact form, those are great tools to get in contact with prospective clients that are interested in your service. Websites are also measurable. So web marketing is not only great for building building relationships, but it's incredibly measurable. So with traditional marketing avenues, it's difficult to determine the success of a marketing campaign, but with web marketing, you can track unique visitors, clicks, conversions, and more with just a quick look at your Google Analytics. So this helps you determine the success of your website, but it also gives you more information that you need to optimize your site to make it more attractive and user-friendly for potential clients. So you can kind of get a look at what things are working and what things aren't working to attract the client base that you're looking for. Websites also open the doors for additional marketing opportunities, which we've talked before about. A website provides you the opportunity to expand your marketing even more into the digital world. So email marketing, social media marketing, IP targeting, blogging, I can go on and on and on. All of these avenues are possible with a website. So your Facebook page, for example, may have a link to your website. It's very, very simple, but it would encourage unique visitors to click on it and check it out if they're looking for health insurance. So that's one very simple way that a website can help you out. It's also a cost-effective marketing solution that opens the doors for attracting new clients and increasing revenue. So you don't want to miss out on what digital advertising can do for your business. And getting started with your website is a lot easier than you might think. So like I said, I have Corey Paff here from WebTech, and WebTech is the vendor that Cornerstone uses for our site. So we can agree that we really like WebTech and what they do for us. And he works on the front end of the websites, and he's going to discuss the process of actually building a website with the use of a third-party web developer, so somebody that can help you build it from the ground up. Corey?
Yep. You wanna send it on over to my screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, it's thinking. Hi everyone, I'm Corey Paff, and like she said, me and Chris are the co-founders of WebTech. And there we go. You can see my screen now. So here's our team. We keep it small. We wear many hats. So obviously I am a front-end developer, but yet I'm doing a sales pitch or some sort for these guys. They're one of our favorite clients that we use, and I just wanted to kind of help as best as I can to kind of show you guys typically the process I take for our clients when they call in or they fill out a request a quote form on our website. This is our website, so this isn't any kind of brochure or any kind of print material that we've done. This is just our standard website. So like she said, the biggest thing that people come to, they see our website, they go right to our homepage, and what she said was a great analogy. This is basically our biggest sales pitch, our biggest brochure that we could ever give someone, is having a nice looking website to kind of capture people in and make them understand exactly what we do in a snapshot. So we have a very nice kind of showing our work, what people are saying about us. We even have some videos that people can use. I think it's very nice. So to build it, people come here, click on request a quote, and they fill this simple form out. We don't want to make it too complex because we want people to actually fill it out if we made it really crazy, but we wanted to give at least a little bit of selections for people to kind of give us something, so it's not just, what's your name, give me your email, and then I'll just email you back with all the questions I already have. So people come here, fill this out for us. That's our first step. We do actually have a process on our website, which kind of helps. I'll just leave this up while I kind of talk about the steps that we take. So once we get the requested quote or phone call, we'll ask simple questions about, do you have a logo already? What's your brand guidelines? Do you have colors, sites that you like? Is really important to us when we go to design your website, so we kind of know the look and feel you're going for. Then we ask them if they have any kind of sitemap or all the pages that you're going to want on this new website. Obviously, there's our sitemap. We have a lot of services that we offer, so we put them all in here to kind of give a little bit of details. And what she was saying, we could talk more about this with SEO on the March 26th webinar, but we built a page for each one of our main services. We always tell people rule of thumb would be 1 keyword per page. As you can see, well, we can't see in our browser, but you have only 1 title tag you only get 1 URL. I have this here, let me go back here. You only get 1 URL with our process, and you only get 1 title tag, which is up here in the tab. So those all matching for having web design and so on, it's just the best practice you could do for SEO, which Chris will touch on more on the March 26th. But we ask for those types of things, the sitemap, and we kind of gather all those types of things first to know kind of how big the website's going to be. Hearing about the page sizes, what kind of features they're going to go on, that's kind of helping us get our estimate together. We try to see if there's any kind of special features for either videos or photo galleries, or if there's going to be a shopping cart online. Those are the types of things that we kind of are trying to look for, or maybe some sort of custom database backend that we need to know. That helps us get our initial estimate out to them. Then at that point, I kind of take everything back to my business partner, and I kind of run things by him and say, hey, I'm thinking this is probably going to be a normal, I'd say 90% of the sites we build are just typical 5 to 10 page informational websites. For that, we will use the same theme that we built our website with, the same theme we built Cornerstone's website with, which is a WordPress theme. It helps keep our costs down. Typically, our 5 to 10 page informational websites run around $3,500 to start. Again, they can kind of go up and down from there depending on how many pages or kind of features. But if we would to build that site custom from scratch using .NET as our main language, it would probably be closer to $7,500 to start out. So it really is a big jump, because this theme that we do is just a nice theme. It takes a lot of our time out of it to be able to kind of use it. At that point, if everything looks good and the estimates look good for our clients, we send a 50% down payment. Once that's paid, Chris then takes this theme and sets it up on our test server and completely strips all the template stuff out of it. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have one that's set up currently that he just stripped out, but basically just starts from scratch and just has bare bones for me. But the back end has all these widgets and things that are really nice for me to be able to build with, which, like I said, cuts my time down a lot, which then cuts down your cost to the website down a lot. He strips it out and gets it set up, and then at that point I start designing it. I start getting the logos, the images, any kind of content with verbiage, videos, whatever, sitemap from the client, and then I start building on our test server. The test server comes with a test link that I can give to our clients, and you guys can review it as we're building it. We'd like to be as transparent as possible, so we give that out, and you guys can refresh every 10 minutes if you want to see our progress. But it's just kind of nice to be able to see it as it's being built. We typically start out with just a home page and a sub-page design. That way we can give you kind of an idea of what we want the site to look like, and then you guys can take it and critique it, update it, make your changes, and then at that point, once we get a final homepage and a subpage, we kind of have our structure in place, so we can kind of go ahead and build the rest of the pages out. All the content, images, things like that, we usually put on the client to provide. We do help with stock photography if you guys need help with those types of things, because honestly, at this day and age, images and videos really do kind of make or break a website, because they're going to be the things that are going to be the biggest, and most people don't want to read books on the website, so they want to just kind of get to the point, and the images are kind of what steal the show and kind of capture you in. So if you don't have a professional photographer, which obviously will be the best solution to do things perfectly for your company, then stock photography will be just as good. At that point, yeah, I said we go back and forth. Once everything looks good, Chris then gets involved again. He's our server guy, back-end programmer, and obviously he also helps out with a lot of the marketing pieces. But he will then put your domain. So a domain name is something you could just get, say, at GoDaddy or register.com. It's your main URL to your site. He points that domain to our production server as he takes the site live, and then that's how people can find you on the internet. At that point, we have our checklist that we go through, making sure we did everything correctly, make sure everything's kind of set up. That could be things like software updates, daily backups, Google Analytics, 301 redirects, and reoccurring web hosting. We obviously do charge for web hosting. If you're going to host your site at our server, we have 3 different plans that if you guys are curious, I can send you. We have a PDF of the different tiers of hosting. And then once the site is set up and live, we then can hop on to the back end of our website on something like this, like a webinar, and I can show you the training back end of how to go in and make your updates on your own if you want to. We do have a tier of hosting that we give an hour of our time each month, or even retainers for certain clients, like a Cornerstone that needs ongoing help. Like me and Jessica, we tag team the site a lot. She does a lot of her updates on her own, but then sometimes she sends things to me and I update it for her. So it's a good relationship to have. But I set you up with a username and login, and you can go into the back end of the website, and you can even see your dashboard, your pages, where all the pages are, to be able to go in and update each one individually. If I click on AdWords management, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of insights to it, into the back end of even using that theme I was talking to you about, it makes it really nice in the back end. If anyone's ever used WordPress before, it's usually not this well set up, but it's really clean, and this is literally exactly what the front end is going to look like, with the name, the image, modules. I can say that I want it to be half of the width, or I can easily change it to be 2/5 and this one to be a little bit larger by a click of a button. So there's a lot of easy things to do in the back end, and we'll just kind of go through that once we structure it all for you. Then there's a lot easier, like, there's some misspell in this, this paragraph. I just need to click on it, and you can just simply update it and hit save. It's simple as that to make your updates once we have it structured for you guys. Let's see here. Once the site is live and set up and we do all the training, at that point, we can focus more and discuss things like the SEO, AdWords, social ads, online newsletters. That's kind of when we start the marketing side of things. That's when I usually get Chris more involved, because especially with AdWords, he does a lot more. SEO, there's a lot of multiple parts to it, but again, that's going to be talked about more in the March 26th webinar. So I'll kind of not steal Chris's thunder and dive into that, but that's pretty much the gist of our typical process, of kind of how we start asking people the questions, building the website, and getting it live for you guys. That's pretty much the start to finish of how everything's done. But like I said to Jessica, I said it's hard to kind of pitch to a quiet crowd, because anytime I have a call, the very first call I have, I first let them kind of tell me about their website, because obviously every single customer and client is a little bit different, with different sizes, different questions, different hopes for what their website's going to look like. So I kind of feed off those questions a lot, just because, like I said, it's just going to be different no matter what I do. So that's a generic pitch, but hopefully that explains it a little bit for you guys. And Jessica, I don't know if you have any questions, or if anyone else. I didn't see any questions come in.
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions. Like you said, if you have any questions, you can put it into the question box or to the chat box, and I'll forward those over to him so that he can answer them. But I do have just a couple to get us started. So the first would be, how long would a typical site take to get from off the ground from start to finish? So say it's like a 2 or 3 page website, from the time that you speak with them the first time to actually being able to push the site live. How long do you think that would take?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because we do actually hear that a lot. And I always give my normal, just salesy answer to it, saying 6 to 8 weeks. But typically, I always tell people too, if you have everything together, like if you have your logo already, you already have your content, you know exactly what your site map, and you kind of have an idea of what you want your site to look like. I could probably have your site built in maybe 2 weeks time. It only takes Chris about a day to get everything up and running on our test server, and then I kind of get with Adam a lot of times and start designing it with him, and laying things out. And usually, I'd say within a day or two, maybe we'll give ourselves a week on that to really get something nice, and depending on obviously our workload as well, get something back to you guys to review. And then once we review that, and if we get a good approval right away, and you say, yeah, this looks great, let's just go ahead, let's build the rest of the site out, then it starts speeding up from there. But typically, I tell people we always are waiting on the client, because usually we're waiting on client either for review of what we've done, or we're waiting on client for content or imagery. So for the most part, like I always say, if you have your stuff together, it's be a lot smoother and it will be a lot faster. So come prepared, or at least once you get the call or once you have the conversation with a web developer, once they kind of give you what you need, if you work faster, then they're going to work faster. We like to keep the ball in a client's court if we can. Like I hate when all of a sudden I have 4 websites that everyone's waiting on me. Like I don't like that feeling. So I try to work as quick as possible and efficient to make sure that it's on them.
Okay, and that kind of leads me to as well, just because you might want a website, don't think that you need to overly complicate it in the beginning. So sometimes it
Right.
just means taking a couple of pages and putting them out there, putting an About Us page, a Contact Us page, and a home page that looks pretty nice. Sometimes it can be just that simple, and I'm assuming that wouldn't take nearly as long either. But it makes it a lot less overwhelming for people that are not used to having an online presence to get started with it.
Correct. I was just pulled this website up real quick because of what you said. Like this person literally doesn't, I don't even think their doors are open yet, but they wanted some sort of presence. And they said, hey, can you just get me a 1-page website up and running just so we have a way that they can see us? They don't even have they couldn't even think of what they wanted to write about, just their company in general. Like that's how sad the content was. So we just put coming soon for that, and just put their slogan, and then all we did was kind of, well, again, we have it set up for knowing that they're going to be a food, dessert, and drink, but they don't even have those ready yet. But you can still make reservations and kind of locate them, or at least contact them. So again, this is live. They paid for it already. They did just add a jobs page, so there is one extra page that kind of just shows the jobs. But like she said, don't think you have to overcomplicate it. You can always add on to it later. If you have like an idea of just main core pages, just go for it. It's just better to have something. At least it looks clean, it looks nice. I mean, it's still a really small website, but you can still contact them, and you can still do all that. So it's definitely a good idea to don't overcomplicate it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's definitely something that we've noticed too with working with other brokers.
Yeah.
We did get one question. How have websites and their effectiveness changed over the last 5+ years?
Oh yeah, lots. The biggest ones that come to mind for me are 2 things. One is HTTPS now with the lock is an SSL certificate that is more liable and more secure. Google, Chrome, some other ones have really locked down. If you do not have that and you have any sort of contact giving personal information, it will warn someone and pop up something that this site is not secure. Those things are really nice to have. It just makes it look a little bit nicer, more secure to be on the website, especially if you're going to be selling things. You almost have to have that. That's probably the newest thing that we recommended to people. I'd say closer to the 5 to 10 year mark was when things became the responsive. That was the big buzzword. Back in, I think it was April of either 15 or 16, Google decided to start penalizing people that did not have mobile-friendly websites and stop ranking them altogether on mobile devices. So if your site is outdated and it does not adapt when you change your width of your website, see how it keeps changing and adapting. So no matter what I'm using, if this is my phone, it's going to look like this. If this is a tablet, it's going to look like this, and so on. If it does not do that, they will not rank you anymore on Google on a mobile device. So that was a huge push for us to try to get everyone using a new responsive theme. And that's when we started to adopt the WordPress and make it a lot easier, because trying to write a responsive custom site, which I've done before and it can be done, It's just basically like writing multiple, say 3 or 4 websites in one, because if you know anything about style sheets is what basically makes a website look the way it does. And you have to basically make 3 or 4 different style sheets based on the width. So at certain key marks, and you'll see like they call it the hamburger menu. This thing appears when it's certain width. Well, that's a different style sheet pulling that. So responsive websites are basically a must at this day. I'm trying to think what else. I think the above the fold idea. So people used to think that all your important content have to be above before anyone scrolls. That's kind of gone now, especially because everyone's used to tablets and phones where you have to scroll. So where we used to not be able to use nice, really big slideshows, we can now, and we can just know that people are going to just keep scrolling. We try to make a little bit still above the fold, so you know there is something still below. These guys, on the other hand, wanted a full width or a full height design. So again, this is still responsive, which will adapt to it, but it's going to be a full 100% height, just because they wanted it that way for their design. But that's a really big thing that's changed that I love. I hated the whole above the fold thing because people just had to put, there wasn't a lot of content on each page. There was a ton of pages because they kept saying, well, to me, I'd rather scroll all day than go to another page. So I like to use the homepage as more of my brochure to kind of get all the call to actions and then get you somewhere as quickly as possible to the sub pages. Trying to think of it. Those are the main things I would say for the last 5 to 10 years that have really changed, because we keep pushing for people, because whenever we see anyone still to this day that does not have a responsive website, it's an easy conversation of, hey, you need to at least change this. Let's move you over. And I do want to mention that too. I did drop the $3,500 for 5 to 10. We do go lower than that sometimes, and we have done promotions, and I think we've even offered it to your clients before. But if they have a really simple, small website that they really just want to get their content pulled over into a new shell that make it responsive, we do different cheaper rates for that, because we just understand that people just want to keep their quote unquote sitemap and content that they have, maybe get a little bit of a refresh look, or maybe at least a homepage refresh look, but most of their content just being pulled over, and we do it for a little bit of a cheaper rate. So if anyone is interested in that, or they have a site that's just really outdated that they want something kind of new, we could talk about those as well.
Mm-hmm. And like he mentioned too, we will be going more into the optimization portion of website building on the 26th with Corey's partner in crime, Chris. So you can join us then to learn a little bit more about that as well. One other question that I get quite a bit actually is, why should I choose WebTech over a cheaper option like a family friend that dabbles in website creation? What does a third-party vendor like WebTech do that those people cannot?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always recommend getting other quotes. I just think it's smart for anything you're going to do in life is to get multiple quotes. The only thing I can say really that sets us apart is our response time and our customer service. We get a lot of clients from other companies, other web development companies in the city, because of their poor customer service or availability, or they don't answer their phones. We pride ourselves in the fact that we are small, yet we still outrank a lot of the big corporations overspending on high rises downtown. We'd like to keep it small. I am an owner of the company, but I'm also answering the phone calls. Maybe it's dumb for me to do that, but I like to kind of start the process out, getting to know the person, because if I'm going to be the one developing their website, I want to be able to know personally kind of what their goals are with their website. I don't think you're going to find that at many companies, at least from what I've heard from other people, from a mom and pop or like a nephew or someone that knows about websites. It really depends, because it's a really slippery slope. I've had a lot of different people say, oh, well, my nephew's going to help me do this or do that. And they may know how to use Photoshop a little bit, but they may not know everything it does about websites. I don't even know everything it does about websites. That's why I have a business partner. He does all my server-side stuff that I don't really even know or care to learn about, and he doesn't develop websites or design things because he has no creative bone in his body. So there is a good yin and yang to having a business partner that really doesn't have much overlap of the types of jobs. We've had people that come to us and say, hey, someone started building this, or hey, they were doing this for free. free only goes so far until that person just doesn't want to do it anymore, and then you're kind of left high and dry. And we've had that a lot with people where they've gotten it for a while, and all of a sudden like they just like ghosted me, or they moved, and I don't know where my files are, and I don't know where my domain is, and I can't get this. Can you help me out in whatever way? So um, I think there are good companies out there. I just, I think that if you look, if you type in like web design, oh man, this is going to be the test, into Google, for the most part, we usually do show up pretty well. We did stop our AdWords campaigns where we were overspending on that, and we just didn't need it right at the time. But we are showing up. So that's another ad. So WebFeet is only showing up so far in 2 ads, and I always call WebFeet our biggest sales team because we get a lot of their clients that come in that aren't happy with them, and so we end up doing well. But we're first on the local optimization. And then we're right here. I guess these are just tops. Obviously, Wikipedia is tough to beat out, and then Squarespace is just an advertisement of how to build a website. So we are first of just typing in web design around Cincinnati, and you can do the same thing. You'll probably see us. That's all because of our SEO and our marketing. That's organic. There's no ad next to that, so we don't have to pay for that. That's just something that we've built. And there's not even anyone around us, to be honest. That's pretty crazy. I thought there was going to be more. All these other things are like lists and categories, and so those are the things that we try to do. And again, it's just the 4 of us, and we're probably going to be cheaper than a lot of people that you'll talk to, like downtown or some bigger companies, and yet they can't even figure out a way to outrank us in their own game. So it is stuff that we pride ourselves in, and important things that you should know, and that we'll help you with as much as we can. When we're building your website, we're going to be building your website as similar to ours, and like we are building our own brand for you. And Cornerstone can probably vouch for that as well, that we take pride in our work, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure that they get what they want, and even hop on webinar callers just to help them with their projects. So we'll do whatever we can to make sure our clients are happy.
Yeah, we can definitely vouch for that. I've emailed Corey plenty of times. We do have another question. So what is the range of hosting costs? I know WebTech hosts sites. So what would be the range of cost for that?
I'll just pull up our flyer real quick. So here's our hosting plan flyer. It's 25, 100, and 250. And you can kind of see down which things cost. 25 is basically our just kind of startup, someone that just doesn't really want they want a website, but they want it just to sit there. They don't want anyone to really touch it, and they're just going to kind of roll the dice on their own. We have a dedicated server, so every single person gets put on our own dedicated server that we manage. We don't have anybody but our own clients on that server. We have our own person. We use GoDaddy to host our websites. We pay about, I think it's like $5,000 for our dedicated server. It might be a year every 2 years. And we just really make sure we keep that up to date, and we can need to upgrade it. We upgrade it ourselves. We manage it. We keep it all secure, and we also make sure that your analytics are still set up for the 25. For 100, you get that free hour from us each month. So that's for things like, hey, can you add this gallery to our website? Or hey, can you make this text change? Or hey, can you add this new page for us? That hour goes with the $100 a month. Our hourly rate is $125 an hour, so it kind of pays for itself if you really are going to be, using that hour. We also put things and update them for you. So there's Uptime Monitor, which basically tells if your website's up, running or not, and if we get an email as soon as it goes down, just in case we get it, we have to talk to it. You don't have to handle that part of it. If your site does go down, we're on it before you even know. We're talking to GoDaddy. We have a contact there, and he's a great guy. His name's Paxton, and he helps us out with all that. We help you with our domain management, making sure that if you want to put your domain with us, we'll take it on, and we'll put the auto renews on us to make sure that making sure that they're staying live and not going down. Hopefully you guys are doing that yourselves if you don't have that. Daily malware scans, daily backups of your website, software updates. Obviously there are WordPress updates, there are theme updates, and there are plugin updates. If you want to do them yourselves, by all means do them, and I would say 25 would be for you. If you don't have a clue or want to touch them or know how to fix them if they go down, that's why we have the $100, because once a month we have to go through, actually I think it's once every Saturday night, the updates are going through, and if they go down, we have to kind of make sure and manually put them up. So there basically are little things we have to do for every single person on a monthly basis, and that's why that's the $100, because it's basically we kind of just average an hour of our time per month for each one of these things. Consulting, if you have phone calls just about questions, that's included. Email management, we use Microsoft 365 for emails. We'll help you manage those things, get those set up for you. Domain renewals, same thing as kind of the domain management. And then the SSL certificate. So that thing I told you about with the HTTPS, typically it charges about $100 a year to have that. If you're on our $100 plan per month, we just include the SSL free of charge. And then the $250 we just recently added because we have a couple clients that wanted load balancers and firewalls on their server or on their website. They are obviously a little bit more expensive. Load balancer literally means that we have to have your site on 2 different servers, and then basically have, when we do an update, it has to be on both, and so that if one ever does happen to go down, it will then shift over to the other server and still be live. So that's kind of for bigger clients that really wanted to make sure that their sites aren't going down. And if you talk to Cornerstone, they understand that sites usually don't go down anyways. So I think it's kind of a nice to have, but really not necessary. I don't know if Jess can even tell you the last time their site did go down. They say it's about 99.9% uptime, so you're not going to see it. And if you do, we're trying to fix it as fast as possible. So that's pretty much the hosting things. And we do on the bottom of this, we just kind of have our all of our services and some retainer cost and things like that of what we do. So that's pretty much it for that. And I can send this to whoever if you guys want me to. I mean, I can link it. Do you want me to link it in this question thing so people can see it? Can they click on that or no?
Yeah,
Or people
I think
not be able to see it? Okay. Actually, I don't even know. I'll just do the chat. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah, that link will be under the chat box then if anybody is interested. The recording for this can be emailed to you, so I will send that over to you probably tomorrow. It does take a little bit for this to load. We put it on our YouTube channel, so if you actually want to see a lot of the other sorry, this is actually from a question that we just got. If you want to see any of our other webinars that we've done in 2019, you can hop onto the Cornerstone YouTube channel, and most of them are out there. Or you can go to the new Resource Center, and those are out there as well. I just had one more question for you, Corey, and then we'll wrap it up after that. And this is kind of an important one because a lot of people that are not taking their time to get into the digital marketing kind of space just yet are a little bit intimidated by this kind of stuff. So do you have to have any kind of web background or know-how about this stuff in order to work with a vendor like WebTech?
No, and most of them don't. Most people that we get have no idea where to begin. And that's kind of why I think this is an important webinar for people, because it can be scary, because I'm the same way when it comes to, a lot of things where I'm just kind of like, doing house improvement stuff. I'm just like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know who to call, what company, there's just a lot of things, the questions that I have, because I just don't know it. Websites is obviously I know backwards and forwards, so it's easy for me. And I'm sure when I talk about it, I probably confuse a lot of people because I'm using things that I just think that people know. So most people that I talk to have no idea about websites, have no idea that there's 3 different hosting for domain hosting, web hosting, and email hosting, that they're all separate. Those are the things I have to kind of keep reminding myself when I talk to people, that they're not going to know those things, or they probably shouldn't even know those things. And then, so that's our job really, is to kind of make sure that we can answer any questions. We don't try to make anyone feel dumb, because we get it. We understand that it's a complex thing, and there are things out there like the Wix of the world, or the Weebly's that, or try to do it yourself ones that people will usually start out with and try, and sometimes can succeed, and sometimes they just want to throw their computer out the window, and then they'll call us and say, here's what I started with. They said it was going to be easy. It's not. And that's kind of why I get that, because I don't even like using those sites because of how locked down they are and how cookie cutter, you have to kind of force fit this in there. And even then, it's still kind of hard for someone that doesn't even know how to use Photoshop to optimize their images. So I would say, no, you don't have to know anything, and you kind of lean on us to guide you, and feel free to ask any question. We're going to answer it as honest as we can. So I would not worry about that part.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll wrap that up for today. If you have any additional questions for Corey or me, you can contact me at jlarkin@crnstone.com. I'll go ahead and pull up my information so that you all can have a look at it. Give me one second. All right, here is my information here. So feel free to contact me with any questions that you might have, and I'll forward any of those questions to Corey if necessary. And also don't forget that the second part of this series is on March 26, 2019. So Corey covered the design and maintenance of the website, and Chris is going to go a little bit more into optimizing the website if you already have one. So don't miss that one. And you can learn all about how your web presence can gain an edge on the competition. So if you want to register for that, you can go to the Cornerstone event calendar at crnstone.com, and there's just a little button at the top that says event calendar. So thank you all for joining us today. You will receive a copy of this presentation within the next day or two, and we'll see you for the next one. Have a great day.
Thanks.